Amara, 15, was walking home from school with her father, who constantly encouraged and commended her passion for learning. Amara was in the hospital when she opened her eyes, but something was missing. The doctors broke the devastating news that her father had died in the accident, and her mother, with tears streaming down her face, held Amara's hand tightly and whispered, "Your father loved you so much, Amara. He always knew how much you loved to learn. Despite this pain, we have to stay strong." The accident left Amara confined to a wheelchair, unable to walk, and as she moved the streets of her small town, she faced the cruel stares and heard people around her make fun of her. Others shunned her, but rather than depressing her, it strengthened her resolve. She frequently recalled her father's words, "My daughter, knowledge is the most powerful weapon. No one could ever take that away from you." One morning, Amara turned to her mother, Mom, with excitement in her voice. "I need a new book today, and I want to visit the library." Her mother smiled sweetly at her resolve as she assisted her into her wheelchair and said, "No matter what you read, don't forget to tell me about it. Books have the power to transport people to different worlds." Amara never stops learning, so when she got to the library, she was ecstatic as she approached the grand doors. The idea of losing herself in the books and losing herself for hours in them made her heart skip a beat. However, as she attempted to enter, a staff member blocked her path. His face was filled with contempt, and he said in a mocking tone, "What are you doing here? This library is for whites only. Look at you both, black and disabled. No one wants to see you here. You don't belong." The man laughed scornfully, shaking his head. "You're right. Black people have no rights here. Go home, there's no way I'm letting you in," Amara said, slamming the door behind him. Amara froze at his words, her chest tightening as tears welled up in her eyes, but she took a deep breath and raised her head with a trembling but firm voice. As Amara mumbled, "This country was built on the promise of freedom for all, and my father fought for that promise, and now I can't even read a book. Is this what justice looks like?" The librarian sneered coldly, unmoved. Amara gripped the edges of her wheelchair tightly, her knuckles white with frustration. "I'm not sure about justice, but I set the rules here, and the first one is that you can't enter until you have no other option." When Amara reached her house, her mother was waiting at the entrance and saw the tears flowing down her face, so she hurried to her side. "What happened, sweetheart?" Amara turned her wheelchair and started the long, agonizing ride home, keeping her head down to hide her emotions from the outside world. Between weeping, her mother questioned in a worried voice. Amara described the humiliating experience she had with her mother, who told her that I didn't belong there and wouldn't let me in because I'm black and in a wheelchair. They said that people like me shouldn't even be seen there, Mom, because when her mother read a crime, she knelt next to her and put her arms around her daughter. "Amara, those people are mistaken." She stated quietly but firmly that they would never comprehend the courage that resides within you. Life will always provide challenges, but we are here to overcome them. Amara brushed away her tears as her mother's words gave her newfound strength. "Knowledge learning. These are your rights. Never allow anyone to tell you otherwise." "I'll return, Mom," she declared resolutely, adding that she would continue to fight for what is right no matter how much injustice there is in the world. Her mother stroked her cheek and said, "You are my brave girl. Your father would be so proud of you. You're not just standing up for yourself. You're setting an example for this entire town." Her voice was full of pride as she lay in bed that night, recalling her father's wartime tales. Knowledge is the most powerful tool. Amara, knowledge is my weapon, and I won't let anyone take it from me. At that moment, a new courage blossomed within her, and the following time, no one could stop her. "No one can ever take it from you," she muttered to herself, clenching her hands together. Amara, she sat in her wheelchair early the following morning, resolved to try again after finding strength in her mother's comments. This time, her eyes shone with determination, and she whispered to herself, "My father always said that knowledge is the greatest freedom, and no one will take that from me." As she arrived at the library, she noticed the same judgmental stares, and the librarian at the entrance recognized her and scoffed. "You're back! I told you you're not welcome here." This time, however, Amara didn't respond. Instead, she moved her wheelchair forward. She entered the room silently and resolutely, and despite the startled looks and whispers of onlookers, she reached the shelf, picked out her book, and slowly made her way toward the exit. There was a noticeable hush in the library. When she arrived at the door, nobody ventured to stop her. The librarian added, "Knowledge belongs to everyone, regardless of your color, body, or past. If you don't understand this, you're losing more than you think." Amara raised the book high in her hands and turned to face the observers. Her voice was calm but firm. Frozen in disbelief, all she could do was watch Amara go because she had already taken what was properly hers and didn't need anyone's approval. Word of Amara's bold deed immediately went around the town, and some people praised her bravery. The story of a young girl who disobeyed the library's regulations and prejudice became a contentious topic. Her acts sowed the seeds of change, while others obstinately held on to their antiquated views. One day, a bunch of kids and their parents went to the library. A thoughtful and inquisitive boy approached his mother and questioned, "Why can't someone like Amara come here?" His mother was rendered speechless as the child's innocent remark struck a chord with her. As the story spread, Amara's message was amplified beyond the library's walls and forced the town's residents to face their prejudices. Some started to doubt their actions, while others began to recognize the injustice they had long ignored. Eventually, the library made a historic announcement. Amara's bravery had been a turning point for the community when the prohibition on black patrons was overturned, and her name became synonymous with change and a symbol of struggle against injustice. One bright morning, a sizable crowd gathered outside the library. As Amara glided near the door in her wheelchair, the library director stood and spoke to the audience using a microphone. Amara came here seeking only a book, but in doing so she reminded us of our humanity from the day this library is open to everyone. The crowd erupted in applause. As Amara entered the library for the first time, she wasn't met with scorn or judgment, but with admiration and respect. Her mother, standing among the onlookers, wiped tears from her eyes and whispered, "I'm so proud of you, Amara." From that day on, Amara became more than just a brave girl from a small town. She became a symbol of courage and equality for her community, and beyond her own words, sometimes a single book can change an entire world. As Amara's story teaches us the power of courage and resilience, we want to hear from you. What part of this journey moved you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt and uplifting stories. Together, let's spread messages of hope and humanity, because every small act can lead to a big change.